Hi, I'm Jim Pickett, a global partners missionary to the country of Mozambique for the last 25 years. It is a joy to serve Jesus. One of my highlights in these last 24 years has been the opportunity to serve with the Wesleyan Church leadership in Mozambique. When we first went to Mozambique, they told us they had a vision to see Wesleyan churches planted in all 10 provinces. At that point, 25 years ago, they were only in about half of them. And so in 2004, we were up at district conference in north central Mozambique. There were 3 other provinces north of where we were holding the conference. And I figured it out that it would only take about an 8-hour trip to get up to Nampula. So I approached our national leaders and I said, I know that you have a desire and a vision to expand into northern Mozambique. We're only about 8 hours away. If you would be interested, I'd be willing to drive the 8 hours so that we can go up to Nampula, see what the city's like, see what the possibilities are for maybe opening a brand new work up there. And so they accepted my offer. So we left Sunday afternoon, drove the 8 hours, got up into Nampula about 11:30 at night, found a place to stay for the night. Next morning, we were traveling around the city of Nampula, just kind of getting a grasp of what the city was like. And I noticed that there was a small mountain on the outskirts. I thought, man, that would probably, if we could get to the top of that, that would be a great view to see the city. So I drove around a bit, got to the base of this small mountain, and at the top of the mountain was an old radio station. There was a group of us that we hiked up this mountain and got to the top, and we were looking over the city, and God touched our hearts for the city of Nampula. And we got in a circle, and we joined hands, and we prayed, claiming the city of Nampula for Jesus. As we descended the mountain back to the car, one of our recent graduates was talking to a young man who happened to be a Muslim. Ended up praying with him to accept Jesus. Our national evangelist called me over and he said, "Hey Jim, these 2 men that he had been talking to wanted to accept Jesus, and he told me to come over and pray with them." So I did. We weren't planning on starting anything that weekend, but it was as if God was throwing open the doors and saying, yes, I want the Wesleyan Church in the city up here in northern Mozambique. We returned back down south to Xai-Xai and to Maputo. A month later, our national evangelist, Raul Dioli, traveled up to Nampula and began planning what became the first Wesleyan church in the northern provinces. About that time, there was a man about 4 hours outside of Nampula in a village who was being controlled by evil spirits. His whole entire village was scared to death of him. They tried every which way to try to control him. They tied him up, he would break free. They locked him in his hut, he broke out. They did everything. They tried to get him under control. They even made stocks out of logs and jammed his legs down until there was open sores on his legs. About the end of 2000 and about the end of December, beginning of January, Abilu's brother came down to bring him up to Nampula City to try to get him some medical help. And once they got into the city, they came in contact with our pastor, Pastor Dioli. And over a series of days, Pastor Dioli prayed over Abilu. And I've heard Abilu testify that at the moment that he was set free, there was a power that flowed through his body to the point where the open sores on his legs were instantaneously healed. Well, Abilu and his brother returned to their village, and there was such a transformation in his life. People were amazed. Abilu ended up planting a church in that village and became the pastor. And God began to work. And over the next several years, God would use our brother Abilu to plant at least a total of 12 churches. In 2018, I had the privilege of being in Nampula as Abilu graduated from the extension of our Bible college. What a joy it was to celebrate with him. In 2021, I got word that he had been in the hospital for several months with respiratory problems. We prayed for him, believing that God would work. And for a time he did, and he seemed to get stronger, so he was discharged to go home. But 2 months later, he was called to his eternal home. What a loss to the work in Nampula. But God is continuing to work in the lives of people there. And I am so grateful that God was able to use me as an instrument to help the Wesleyan Church be able to expand into northern Mozambique. Please continue to pray for Mozambique. God is continuing to work. Churches are being planted. People are being saved. And we just praise God for all that He's doing. Thank you.